The Job Hunting in Turbulent Times workbook. We address what happens at any time when you're job hunting, but now we have COVID-19, the market turbulence, not that many jobs advertised. I really like to get candidates to sharpen their message and their narrative and have a very good pitch so that when they are talking to employees and talking to recruiters, they very quickly can send that message and have a very strong brand so that they will remember you, be it for that job that you are applying or for future opportunities. You have to think about that as well. I'm Renata Bernarde, a virtual career coach and job hunting expert and creator of the Job Hunting Made Simple online course. Every week I record a live career coaching session where I help you with your career progression. I'm also the host of the Job Hunting podcast, where I interview experts to discuss recruitment, job hunting, and jobs of the future. So make sure you subscribe, follow, and welcome aboard. Hello everybody. I think we're all good to go today. It's quite smooth. A bit of a strong light there for some reason. Facebook light seems to be okay. I'm telling everybody on Instagram that I'm live, so let's just give it a little bit of a time for people to join if they want to join. I hope everybody's having a good day. It's been quite a week. I don't know where you are around the world, but it's been an interesting, sad week with lots happening, and I think since the beginning of COVID, I haven't felt this kind of down. I don't know how you're feeling, but it's just really hard to watch the news. And I'm sort of balancing that with focusing on work and focusing on you and helping you. And at times I think, should I be, maybe canceling things this week? Are people up to it? But I think that if you're job hunting, you're probably really keen to get things going. And this week, the podcast, the live coaching today, and the workbook, they're all kind of aligned as a trifecta to help, and kind of together they make this workshop to help you out. And I kind of felt that it was good to keep going and keep supporting you. So if you're watching this later, I hope that you have downloaded the workbook. So, and if you haven't and you're watching this later, you can stop the video, find the workbook. There will be a link below. If you're watching this live, don't worry, just keep going, keep watching, and I will show you the workbook, and you can do this at your own time later on. Rewatch the video if you need to, but I think you'll be fine. So if you don't know me, my name is Renata Bernarde. I'm a career coach. I am here every Thursday on Facebook and on Instagram with a live career coaching session to support job hunters and people that are keen to advance their careers and plan for their career development. So if that's you, please follow me wherever you found me. And I also have the Job Hunting podcast, which goes out every Tuesday morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time. We have now 32 episodes. This is a new project for me. I started late last year in November, and it's been going really well. And I'm really enjoying supporting so many of you with your career questions, issues, concerns, job hunting. For those that have been made redundant recently, welcome aboard. You're not alone. We're in this together, and I'm really here to support you. So message me, find a time to see me. If you want to invest in one of my services, go to my website and see what I offer. I've recently started offering LinkedIn audits, and I'm really enjoying doing LinkedIn audits. So if you haven't signed up for that one yet, it's a very good investment. It's not very expensive. What I'm trying to do is really offer a range of services at different price points so that everybody can invest a little bit and have career coaching and tailored services to support their career progression. So have a look at that, because that's really important. I mean, LinkedIn is so important. I'm going on Ticker TV to talk about LinkedIn in a couple of weeks, or maybe next week. I can't remember the day. But yeah, they want to address that. So once that interview is up, I will add to my blog. So that's the thing about being connected with me and following me. You know, anytime there's a new video, you will be the first to know. What else? Comment below if you feel comfortable commenting, giving us and sharing us your ideas and your experiences. Please do so. It's always a great idea to follow, to you know, have that conversation with your peers and others that have gone before us. You know, if somebody is going through a tough time right now job hunting, and you've done that in the past and something that you've done worked for you, please do share. One of the things that I'm going to be talking at the Ticker TV interview, so I don't want to say too much now, is, you know, job hunting is not a solo sport anymore. It's something that you can definitely do together with others. Hi, Estella. Nice that you've joined. And I really want people to understand that it's not going to disadvantage you if you work together with colleagues and get people to help you on LinkedIn, especially if you're job hunting. So we'll talk about that in a couple of days or weeks. I don't know when the interview will be. But there you go. The job hunting in turbulent times workbook. If you haven't downloaded this yet, please do. It's not a big workbook. I will go through it with you now, and I've done my own as an example to show you what it is. So the podcast number 32, it's called Job Hunting During Turbulent Times, how to job hunt during turbulent times. And we address what happens at any time when you're job hunting, and then the additional ideas and advice that I'm suggesting to you when you're job hunting during turbulent times. So it's not that things that you should forget how to, you know, you should sort of dismiss what you have, the advice you were given at any point in time about job hunting. That is really important, and it still needs to be sharp and crystal clear. And when I started my job hunting project to support you with the podcast and my services and all, that's what I was hoping to help people with. I felt that, you know, the message wasn't sharp enough. I felt that there was room for improvement from the candidate side on selling their suitability for the job that they were applying for. But now we have an additional situation, COVID-19, with the market turbulence, not that many jobs advertised, and too much uncertainty, employers possibly needing new capabilities and new people on board, but not being able to induct them into workplaces because everybody's working from home. So all of these things can be addressed by the candidate when the candidate is approaching recruiters and employers, be it for jobs that are advertised or as part of your networking to identify opportunities, right? The given, the anytime, you know, the business acumen that we expect employees to have at any time and candidates to have at any time are your skill set, your technical competencies, your capabilities, and your experience. So let's start with that. So that's my bread and butter. I really like to get candidates to sharpen their message and their narrative and have a very good pitch, and I work with my private clients to fine-tune that pitch so that when they are talking to employees and talking to recruiters, they very quickly can send that message, because these people have very short attention spans. They are very busy and they see lots of candidates. So you really need to sharpen that message and have a very strong brand so that they will remember you, be it for that job that you are applying or for future opportunities. You have to think about that as well, right? So maybe you're not the perfect match for that job, but you may be a perfect person and candidate for a future opportunity coming up. You have to think a little bit more long term now more than ever. So think about that. So in this page where we're working with the job hunting at any time information, your skill set, technical competencies, capabilities, and experience. I did it for myself. So let's say if I was looking for a job, I'm not, because I have you to support. But if I was, my skill set would be my most important skills that I bring as a person. You know, that exchange of you pay me my salary and you have these best skills that I have. And I don't have all the skills, but I have these three that I really think are my best skills. And I think of my best skills are my communication skills, my marketing skills, and my creative thinking, innovative skills. And I couldn't really put a word to it, so I would probably had to adapt it based on what I think, what I could read from the job ad, or depending on the sector and industry that I was targeting. So what I mean by that is people often have hired me when situations were really dire and they needed somebody that could think outside the box to fix the business. And that's why I know that I am very good creative thinker and creative leader to work with sometimes very little budget, with very little in terms of resources, and have that business turnaround done for the stakeholders involved, the board and so on. And to do that, I needed to have very strong communication skills to sell that idea to the employees and to the customers and so on. And I've usually done that through my marketing skills, so my business development and my selling and my marketing skills, more than my financial skills. Although I have very strong financial skills, I didn't really write them here because I don't come from that background. So that is my three kind of top skills. Then when I think of my technical competencies, and this is kind of a strange one, you will see why. I am a CRM expert, so I have rolled out lots of big changes in CRMs. So, Salesforce Solutions, eTapestry, Blackboard, Microsoft. So, moving from one to another, adopting one, tendering out, looking at different solutions and educating the board or the employees or the stakeholders involved internally as to why one opportunity was better than the other and why we needed it and so on. So I'm kind of known for that as well, for past employment. So I would see that as being a technical experience. I'm not a CRM expert or a techie person, but I work really well with the techies. I love them, and I think they love me back. And we get along really well, and I'm kind of more like a facilitator and a mediator and a translator between, the technical people working in the IT departments and doing the Salesforce guys that come in to do the Blackboard guys as well, and the people that are actually going to be the users, who are usually reluctant. So that's my expertise. Team coaching, I put that as a technical competency, and people don't usually think that that's a technical competency, but yes, it is, and I've done a lot of training to do team coaching, and I studied positive psychology and all of that to get teams on board, to get teams to work efficiently, effectively, and in collaboration with others and so on. So I put that as a technical competency, and I also put enterprise transformation as a technical competency, more so than project management, because I really like to do that enterprise change for growth or restructure or transformation. Then for capabilities, I put relationship building, relationship management, and interpersonal skills. So that's what I'm known for. So on the ground, up and down Collins Street, people know me as, somebody who comes in. That's how I've been promoted to up to a CEO level is because I've been a relationship manager and I've built a lot of relationships. I have a very large network in the corporate sector and the public sector. People know that of me here in Melbourne. So that's a capability. And even if I don't have relationships in a specific sector, I'm very confident that I can build them quickly. It's just that comes with that communication skill that I mentioned before. Or maybe I haven't mentioned yet. Oh no, I've mentioned that before. Yeah. The other capability is leadership, because I have been a CEO, I have been a manager of people and projects. I feel comfortable stepping into a role where I am managing people and projects and funds and money and other people money. Look, it's the first time you do it, it's a bit scary. The first time you're managing, gazillions of dollars and deciding, together with a board and your CFO and all of that, where the money goes and who is going to be managing that. And, being a not-for-profit leader adds to the weight of those responsibilities. In fact, it's a beautiful, beautiful LinkedIn post. I will find it and I will put it in the comments below. A friend of mine who is the CEO of Cocoa Black, which is a chocolate company here in Australia. I mean, he's Willy Wonka, really, right? So Nick wrote a beautiful, beautiful post on LinkedIn, an open letter to other CEOs who are feeling quite vulnerable at this time of COVID-19, having to make really difficult decisions about staffing and, everything that's going on. And it is quite a lonely job at the top. It's a privileged position, of course, to be the CEO, but it's not an easy one. And, it's really only and he says that in his post, it's only in hindsight that you will know if you've done the right thing or not. Really tough. But I see that as having that experience. I have to put that into there as my top. And the third one, the business development. So if you would hire me as a leader, it's because you probably need to grow your business. You need to get more clients or get more philanthropists or get more donors or get more whatever it is that you need. That's why people would hire me, as opposed to other times within the organization where you would probably need different types of leaders. So I can't solve all the problems, and you have to understand that you cannot solve all the problems. You have to find your niche and stay in your lane so that people know what you are good at and they will remember you and call you when they have an opportunity for you. So that's at any time. Imagine now. So now I think what's important is for, of course, listen to the podcast, episode 32, right? It's important for you to let employees know and recruitment managers and recruiters and hiring managers know that you feel comfortable under pressure. You feel comfortable with ambiguity, with complexity, with uncertainty, and that you can cope. Now, that needs to be true to you. And if that's something, if you have to build that resiliency, then let's work on that for you. But find examples in your life of times when you've had to deal with those situations in isolation. I mean, it hasn't been as bad as it is now, but when was it that you've had to use foresight, like what Nick mentioned in his LinkedIn post, instead of forecast, right? So you couldn't look back and look at previous examples because they didn't apply. You had to kind of think, okay, based on what I know and I can quickly gather now in terms of information, this is what I think the best solution is. Forget what has happened in the past because that doesn't apply anymore. Try to find an example of where you've had to do that in your hopefully professional life, but if not personal life, find an example and list it here and think about how you can use that in your narrative as you're talking and networking with people that could potentially hire you. So I remembered one where I quickly had to adapt to an environment and support a lot of people that were going through a lot of changes, doing a restructure, where I was head of governance in a large institution, and I just developed a whole different approach to performance management, and that was, perceived as being very good. So I kind of thought about that very quickly, and it was like, okay, I know that this is the best practice for performance management for these people, but this is crazy that we're using this sort of template. It doesn't really apply to what we're going through now. I'm going to update it. And I just did it. It's one of those situations where you do it and you just cross your fingers and you hope for the best, and it worked, and everybody loved the new template and the new idea, and it was used across other departments as well, and I trained people to use it and so on. Strong communication is another area that I think during turbulent times you have to convey to employers and hiring managers, that you can have strong communications. And strong is probably not the right word, because it's not like you need to use force or anything, but it's just being able to communicate in this new world, in this new environment where you have email, you have messages, you have WhatsApp, you have Zoom, you have Skype, you have, it's a lot. And you need to navigate all of that, and you need to be consistent, and you need to be sending whatever message you need to send to your clients, to your colleagues, in a way that it's clear. So I think now more than ever, it's really important to have good written communications as well, and have clear, sharp messages that are not too long, emails that don't go on forever. And I've just started using Grammarly. Now, I didn't think I needed Grammarly. My husband has been praising Grammarly for a long, long time. And I thought, well, I have Word document and it corrects me. Grammarly corrects every little box that I post. Like, so if I'm doing a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post or writing anything anywhere, Grammarly just sort of sneaks in there and corrects it for me and gives me better words to use. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's much better. So I'm really using that. And that's all part of me trying to communicate really sharply and clearly to everyone. And fast, and not waiting until things go haywire before you send a strong message. So I remembered an example when I was a CEO, and unfortunately there was a hacking in our system. And I use this example because there's a lot of that happening at the moment, a lot of fraud and hacking, and people abusing the system, and it's becoming really common for corporations to find themselves in situations where their systems are hacked. And it happened to us, and I had to very quickly, in a matter of hours or minutes really, send a lot of very important messages to all of our clients, to all of our philanthropists, to all of our students, everybody that worked directly with us, so that they knew that I owned it, that we understood that we had the responsibility to let them know and protect everybody from what was happening, and not be afraid of doing that. So there's an aspect of writing well and talking well, and not being afraid of picking up the phone and just talking to people, not having to book a time or anything, just being quick and agile in having those communications, and then having the courage to having the communication, I think, is really important. And that's the third aspect, courage and compassion. So this is a time of us having time to feel human with ourselves and our loved ones. But when we are being leaders and colleagues and working with others, that we have the compassion and empathy to get out of ourselves and our own skin, and sort of be compassionate and courageous, and support others that may have very different experiences than us. So it may be that I'm coping really well with COVID here in my lovely house, not really having any financial difficulties or whatever. But somebody else is, somebody else is feeling a lot of anxiety. Somebody else is not coping well, have lost their jobs. And I need to be compassionate and empathetic and understand that we are all going through this together, but having very different experiences. And as managers or as work colleagues, we have to understand that it's really important now more than ever to have that compassionate skill or behavior as part of your what you bring to the workplace. Okay, so I remembered an example as well, and I wrote it down. Self-motivation and entrepreneurialism is really important if you're going to be working from home, if you're going to be working detached from the rest of your team, if you have to build a routine, even if you're not getting out of the house. It may be new to some people, and I know it's even new to me. I used to love getting out of the house in the morning, going into town and working from my office in the city. I've always been a big fan. I remember when I had my first business back in my home country in Brazil, 2-3 years after I opened it, I was done with working from home. I just couldn't wait to have my office and get out of the house. I was way more productive outside of the house than working from home. I could have opted to work from home, but I didn't want to. So it may be that you need to build that self-motivation and that entrepreneurialism. If you are a job hunter, you need to be entrepreneurial, because you are now in a situation where you need to be selling yourself. You are the product, and that self-motivation and resiliency will take you further and get you where you need to be, with a job in a few months. So then the next step of the workbook is to really rethink your plans, right? So what is it that you need to do to adapt to this new world? Okay, so what changes you need to do to your plans, what type of information you need to gather to make those new plans successful. What would a new career look like? If you have to really change sectors, let's say if I was leaving the higher education sector, and so many people are, the higher education sector in Australia is in dire straits, not dead like airlines, but it's still, not doing so well. Chances are there wouldn't be a job in that sector. What other sectors or careers even can I consider? I have a friend who worked at an airline here in Australia, and I know he is in a completely different job, in a completely different sector. He just posted on Facebook, his first day at his new job, and it's really lovely to see him just moving on and finding something else. And I really do hope that he thrives in this new career. But it could be that a new career for you may need some research. You may need to, give it some time to test if it's something that you would want to do. It may need some study. There is a nice podcast with Paul Burrows about how he changed his career from working at BHP, which is a mining organization here in Australia, to becoming a financial advisor. And he needed to get certification to do that. So listen to that podcast if you are going through a career transition. It's a great one. And then you would do a personal SWOT analysis. So especially if you're going through a career transition, you would need to know, okay, do I have the strengths in that will allow me to be successful? What are the weaknesses that I need to address? What are the opportunities that are there for me that will enable this transition and this new plan that I have for myself? And what are the potential threats? And you can even add yourself as a threat. I often do, because sometimes, I can second guess my plans, and you can add that so that you give yourself, that reviewing and that monitoring over time. And but you don't self-sabotage your plans, which can sometimes happen. And then I want to focus the next couple of minutes before we say our goodbyes on one of my favorite tools, which is the goal pyramid. Now, the goal pyramid is when things get real. So I did one for myself as if I was finding myself a job. Now, I said finding myself a job, but truth is, instead of putting as the top goal there, I used the goal pyramid, and that's what it was designed to do by Matthew Michalowicz, the author of Life in Half a Second. Oh, I did a spelling mistake here. Not using Grammarly properly, am I? Life in Half a Second is the book where I got the goal pyramid from. Great book. The idea for the goal pyramid is to use it for short-term spurts, short-term projects, like 6 months, 8 months, 12 months max. So the goal would be, okay, we are in June. By December 2020, I need to be making money. Okay, so by December 2020, I need to be making, can you see this? I hope you can. I need to be making money. I cannot be without something generating revenue. See how I'm not even using the word job, because who knows, right? So I thought here that the best way would be to think, okay, what is the minimum that I need to survive, considering this is a very ambiguous, uncertain time, and I don't know that I can get the best job for me. So I thought, okay, let's say that the minimum that I need is 5K per month after tax, okay? This is not a lot, and let's say I'm a senior exec and I'm not used to getting that, that sort of income. This is kind of less than half than what I'm used to. So what would that mean? That means, okay, my sector has disappeared or is not doing very well. Let's say that this is equivalent to a part-time job in possibly the not-for-profit sector, because the not-for-profit sector doesn't have a lot of money to pay for full-time execs, and sometimes they're still initiating and growing their businesses. It could be a startup as well. Startups are going to have a lot of incentives in Australia, so I could work for a startup. So it would be not-for-profit or startup, part-time, and work from home. If I work from home, I save money because I'm not spending too much money getting to and from work, buying food, outside the house, spending lots of money outside the house. So I can survive if that's what I get. Another opportunity for me would be to do some consulting, right? So if I'm doing part-time work, I can also do some consulting on the side, and that can keep me going until the situation gets better and I can get the job that I really want, which would be a full-time C-level or heads of job that will probably be available to me maybe in a year and a half, when we get out of this kerfuffle. So I will be okay with 5K by December. Hopefully before then. What do I need to do? Well, I need to get a job offer, right? I need to get this job offer would be ideal. I'm going to focus on this for me because I think this is doable. I think that this is something that's out there in the market that I can get. So I need to get this job offer. So that's the job offer here. And I will also need to get some consulting opportunities. Okay, so that's what will, and get me to the 5K per month that I'm hoping for. To get the job offer and to get the consulting, I need to do some work, right? To get the job offer, I think I need to sit for at least 10 interviews. Now, this is a lot of work, you guys. To sit for 10 interviews means that I need to apply for a lot of jobs to get there, and I need to network with a lot of headhunters and recruiters to get there. And I probably need to set up my home office, because I've decided that the most likely situation will be that I'll be working from home, and let's say my home office is not really well set out, so I will need to invest in the home office. And the consulting means that I need to reconnect with a lot of people that I haven't connected in a long time. So I need to work on at least 100 good leads. It may sound like a lot, but 100 good leads is like 2 good calls a day. You can do that in 2 months, right? So 2 months and a bit, you get it. So okay, now you need to then do another level down, where you would be identifying the recruiters and the headhunters and the employees. You would be applying for jobs, and you'll be contacting people that don't have jobs advertised but that or are recruiters in your sector, in these 2 sectors here, and making sure that you're connected with them. You would be looking at purchases for your home office, or adapting things around your house so that you can work from home and have a proper setup at home. And you would be working really strongly on your LinkedIn and your contact list to develop that consulting capability as well as the job. Okay? And that shows then the sort of work that you will need to do to get you that 5K a month by 4 months time, 6 months time. I hope this has been useful to you, of how you take a goal and a dream and an idea for job hunting, to break it down to step by step, get you there, and make it really tangible and pragmatic and useful for you to understand that things don't just happen. It really requires a lot of work and routine and persistent and consistent working on your plan to get you there. And I'd love to help you. If you think that you need to review your plans with me, consider signing up and booking a consultation with me. That's what it's for. It's really for you to fine-tune those little bits of information to make sure that it's all going to plan, and it's a good investment if you can afford. Another great investment is the LinkedIn audit. I think LinkedIn is really super important these days. If you have that's your website, and you should be there, of course, and you should have it working for you at every level. Just little tricks here and there on your LinkedIn profile can make a huge difference on how you present yourself to your network and future employers. So that's another very cost-effective way to get professional advice from me and get you where you need to be, which is, a great job by the end of the year, or hopefully even before then. So fingers crossed. So lovely to have you here live. Hello, everybody that's watching live on Instagram. I'm still kind of really, confused with the 2 cameras, but I will eventually find my groove with the 2 cameras. I think it's really nice to have both Facebook and Instagram at the same time, and it means I reach out to more of you. So thank you for joining me. I will be stepping into the private group for another 5 to 10 minutes to give them extra love. So if you're not a member of my private group, consider joining them, because I give them a little bit of extra love every day. And it was nice to see you again, everyone. Bye for now. Keep in touch. I hope this session helped you with your job hunting and career plans. Don't forget to follow me, and most importantly, subscribe to the Researcher Career community so that I can send you my weekly newsletter for job hunters and career enthusiasts, as well as my free tools and extra love. Bye for now, and see you next time.